Hello little one! If you've watched the Master System episode, you will know that the story leading up to this involved me sleepwalking and falling downstairs one Christmas. Although our Master System came with Alex Kidd built in to stop me crying as I laid half asleep, concussed at the bottom of the stairs, my parents let me have a go on the new console. The first game that I ever played was originally a 16-bit arcade game, which was then ported over to many other consoles, including the 8-bit console, such as the Sega Master System, which is the one that I played. And that game was Golden Axe.
Thy quest is to crush Death Adder's evil henchmen. Seek wisdom from your Sega hotline and face thy destiny. Golden Axe, 'tis mighty serious fun.
Please be warned that this next bit contains flashing lights, so if anyone who is watching this suffers from epilepsy, then please look away and just listen for now.
特報メガドライブ最新作超人気の SFX ゴールデンアーク忍者ゲームのニューウェブザ・スーパーシノビ堂々完成
Okay, you guys can now look back again. There's no more flashing lights.
So, you slaughtered the son of Death Adder, barbecued his freak. How do you progress to level 8? Well, you eat fast food, you humiliate every machine in the arcade, and you And you practice for real. That's my sidekick. Game over, sunshine.
Golden Axe was released in the UK in 1990 on a variety of systems. At the time, it was being sold for £29.95p for the Sega Master System, and £34.99p for the Sega Mega Drive version. Today, in 2024, the Master System copy is sold for anywhere between £4 to £60, and the Mega Drive version is sold between £5 and £90. Yet, if you were to sell it yourself directly to a game store, guess how much they would be willing to give you? It would either be a penny or 10p. Not even worth £1. And for some reason, nothing in between 1 or 10p. Just, it's either 1p or 10p. That's it. The original arcade game of Golden Axe saw players choosing between 3 characters. Axe Battler was one of the characters you could play. He was a half-naked barbarian whose mother was killed by Death Adder, and Axe wields the powers of Earth. Tiris Flare was the next character. She was a half-naked Amazon whose father was killed by Death Adder, as well as her mother. Tiris wields the powers of fire. And the third character is Gilius Thunderhead, the fully clothed dwarf whose brother was killed by Death Adder. Gilius wields the power of lightning. Notice how Tyrus Flare and Gilius Thunderhead have names similar to their powers, yet Axe Battler has nothing to do with his power over Earth. He doesn't even wield an axe. Gilius does. It's a stupid name. He uses like a longsword or a broadsword. He doesn't use an axe. Also, the game is about reclaiming the golden axe from Death Adder. Yet, in the original arcade version of the game, Gilius already has the golden axe. Or maybe it's just a cheap knockoff, who knows, but for some reason he's running around with a golden axe. It's like, you've already achieved your goal, what? Going back to Axe Battler though, Tarek was a much better name, and at the time it was only the Master System version that called him Tarek. I could not find a reason anywhere to state why they changed his name from Axe Battler to Tarek, but it certainly was an improvement. He doesn't have a surname relating to his powers though, like Tyrus and Gilius have. I reckon he should be called Tarek Boulder Balls, or Tarek Bottom Boom, because he farts all over the screen. Many years later, as more sequels were released, he would be known as Tarek the Axe Battler, supposedly part of the Axe Battler clan.
Hold if you value your life. What master do you serve?
I am Tarek, Axe Battler, Lord of the Frozen North. I am no servant of the Death Adder. Consider that, if you intend to use that sword of yours.
I'm not sure who wrote the lore for Tarek, but I think they need to go back to the drawing board, because it's just terrible. They didn't do much better with that. He was also apparently skilled with using an axe too, but he just preferred to use a longsword, you know? It's like the writer spoke to someone with a similar view as me and was like, actually, he's called Axe Battler because he's from the Axe Battler clan, and he can use axes, he just doesn't want to. So no. There's such terrible reasoning for a terrible name. It would be easier just to call him Tarek. In the Sega Master System version, you only get to play as Tarek. And it is believed that due to the Master System's limitations, the reasons why you cannot choose between, Gilius and Tyrus. However, older and more limited consoles, such as the Atari TS, the Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, Amiga, TurboGrafx CD, the Wonder Swan, and the Amstrad. Had Golden Axe ported onto them too, but you could still choose between each character. Even MS-DOS had a version of Golden Axe made for it, only this is Golden Axe on crack. Take a look for yourself. Starts off fine, music's a little bit fast, bit weird, and oh my god! the fighting is so quick! The sound quality is like sped up too. It just sounds so bad. And look at this guy! The weird little gnome is like, ah! Oh my god! Help me! It's just so... Why would you play this version? Take a look at the skeletons too, like, their sprite. They didn't even port the sprite across properly. They somehow, I don't know, in one of its frames, they cut its leg off and moved it to the side. It's just, was there any quality control with this one? On the topic of quality control, I'm not sure how this one wasn't brought into question. The Zabroka Amazon enemies that you face in the Atari, Commodore, and Amiga version of Golden Axe, each of them have a big floppy dick. The Commodore, not so big, but the Atari and Amiga, it's just a big floppy penis. It's meant to be like the tassel or loincloth thing that dangles down, which you can see in the Mega Drive and other versions. But with these ones specifically, it's blatantly a penis. And with the Atari and Amiga, they don't have that when they're walking towards you. They're walking towards you, they're all fine, and then big floppy dick. It's when you hit them, suddenly their penis flops out. And lastly, a very random change that was made. In the arcade version, Tyrus Flare wore a bra and underpants. But in the Mega Drive version, for some reason, they changed her underpants into a thong. And to this day, I never understood reasons why, because when you're playing the game, that's not where you're looking. You're not staring at her butt the entire time. And so if people are trying to say, sex sells, that didn't sell the game. The title sold the game. Golden Axe. People saw the name Golden Axe. They saw the big symbol of Golden Axe. There was no butts anywhere, no thongs anywhere. So you can't tell me sex sells. Although, looking at the Mega Drive game cover, there is a man in very small underpants and a woman from the side. Looks like she's wearing a thong. Fine. Alright. Fine. Whatever. Forget what I just said. Maybe sex does sell. I don't know. Out of everything I've seen, the Sega Master System is the only version of the game where you cannot play as Gilius and Tyrus. My only guess is, if they were to keep Tyrus and Gilius for the Master System, it would likely mean sacrificing game and or sound quality in order to free up more memory. If that's the case, then I can understand why they chose to remove them. Quality over quantity, I guess. Golden Axe was also created as a Tiger Electronics game, but with how terrible and primitive these cheap toys are, I don't think it counts. But here's a quick look at one of them. The Master System version did allow the player to choose which power they wanted though, whether it be Earth, Fire or Lightning. Lightning being the weakest spell, but fast to charge up. Earth is average in strength and takes a little longer to charge, and Fire being the most powerful spell, taking the longest to charge up. Now that doesn't mean you have to wait though. Oh no, you're free to cast the spells whenever you like, even if they're not fully charged up. All it means is the spell is a little weaker, and you are rewarded with a different spell attack animation. Currently I've shown you all the spells from the original arcade version of Golden Axe, so I'll now show you both the Master System and the Mega Drive versions back to back, so you can see how different they are depending on what system you play it on. The original arcade version is probably the better of the three, but the Mega Drive takes a very close second. Please be warned, again, some of these contain flashing lights. First up is Lightning. Next we have Earth. There's not much difference with the Earth spell, just bigger booms. I always found the Earth spell to be a little boring, to be fair. Lastly, we have Fire, my favourite spell out of the three due to its variety, and that's pretty much the only reason why I choose Fire every time I play, is just for the variety of animations. Sure, with it being more powerful definitely helps, but yeah, I just like the different animations. Here is where the MS-DOS and the Mega Drive stand out from the rest. In this one, after defeating Death Adder at the end of the game does not end there. So long as you are playing arcade mode and not beginner mode, after killing Death Adder, the player is seen being thanked by the King and Queen before being told Death Adder was merely a pawn being used by a greater evil, and so the players must venture forth one last time through the large double doors to end its tyranny once and for all. The endings of each game is quite interesting too. The Master System shows still images of what looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was an action movie star in mine and your parents' generation. Not so much now. In fact, it's very likely by the time you grow up, little one, that he would have passed away from old age. This video was edited in March 2024, so he's currently 76 years old. I recommend you check out his films though. I'm pretty sure you'll love his work. The Mega Drive shows a list of every enemy you faced before taking you to a baseball scene between a club-wielding guy and Gilius. The best ending by far has to be the original arcade version. Upon beating the game, the camera cuts to a kid playing on an arcade machine. All the characters then leap out of the machine and then chase the poor kid down the street. Why? I don't know, because reasons. Who cares? Maybe the kid owes them money or something. Have a look for yourself and leave a comment below with your reasons why they could be chasing after the kid.
Did he know?
Golden Axe has quite a few interesting facts for our Did You Know section. First up, did you know that in the Japanese version of the Golden Axe arcade game, Axe Battler is seen on the start screen decapitating an enemy? No other version across the globe has this scene. It was replaced instead with a pencil drawing of each character accompanied with a bit of backstory. Our second interesting fact is sure to impress many fans of the series. Did you know all the enemies of the game are each named after different brands of alcohol? Even Death Adder himself now! Although he was a bit late to the party with this one, as Death Adder only became an ale, also known as an IPA, 2 years ago in 2022. Brewed at the Falcon Brewery in Vitoria, located in Basque Country, Spain. Death Adder is even emblazoned on the can itself. I'm very tempted to see if I can perhaps manage to get a can imported over to the UK and give it a try. I mean, it's an ale, I might like it. I'm more of a cider person myself, but I don't know, I might like it. The heavily armoured knights in the game have slight variations to their names, but are all named after bitters, which in terms of alcohol is an ale. There is no particular brand with this one, as there are many different types of bitters, and the name change remains the same, it's just a different rank. So the silver one is Lieutenant Bitter, the red one is Colonel Bitter, and the gold one is General Bitter. If you were playing the TurboGrafx version, it saw a higher ranking knight known as Heineken replace an enemy called General Heartland as Death Adder's bodyguard. Heineken being a well-known Dutch lager from the Netherlands, and Heartland is a pale lager from the Kirin Brewery in Tokyo, Japan. General Heartland was the strongest variation of these two blue hammer-wielding giants, known as the Bad Brothers. Their names are Sergeant Malt and Sergeant Hop. Malt being a type of mass-marketed beer with high alcohol content, and hop meaning hops, which is a flower used in the making of beer. The plant itself is considered a cousin of the cannabis plant. But let's not go down that rabbit hole. Bad Brothers, believe it or not, is linked to Budweiser, an American pale lager from St. Louis, Missouri. The link is only found with the Japanese version, as they are known as Badoweiser, aka Budweiser. In the MS-DOS version, General Heartland was renamed as Biadaru, which translates to beer barrel. That's a large wooden container, by the way. Often containing beer, you know, it's in a barrel shape. Anyway, moving on to the Amazonian warriors, known as Zubroka, each variation had their own names. The purple ones were called Storchinaya, the green are Strobaya, the red are Lemonaya, and black are Gruzia. Apologies if I got the pronunciations wrong. Now you might be able to hazard a guess which country these alcoholic drinks are named after, but I'll give you 50 points if you're also able to guess what kinds of drinks they are. However, I can't give you the 50 points because I don't know. It's a pre-recording. I don't know what your guess is. I'm now going to give you the answer, so if you then guess the answer in the comments, then I can only think that you're cheating. Because you've obviously heard the answer. Now, Zubroka is a Polish vodka known as Zubroka. Storchinaya is a Russian vodka known as Stolichnaya. Strobaya is another Russian vodka known as Stolovaya. Lemonaya is again another vodka based off of Stolichnaya, but is made outside of Russia in Latvia and is known as a stoli with lemon. Gruzia is, yep, you guessed it, it's a brand of wine from Georgia, situated near Azerbaijan. We then have our two half-naked buddies, Henninger and the club-wielding guy mentioned earlier, known as Longmoan. Yeah, that's his name. Longmoan.
Can I get a oh yeah?
Now, Henninger is named after a German brewery, also called Henninger, but with an extra N. And Longmoan is named after a Scottish distillery, Longmorn. Even the game itself was immortalized as a blonde ale from the Chronicle Brewing Company in Bowmanville, Canada. However, I guess due to copyright, they could not have Gilius Thunderhead on the can and instead had to use a bearded knight with a huge golden axe and a shield. This same name was also used for an apple cider from Victoria in Australia. The only enemies, or NPCs, that are not named after drinks are the skeletons, because they're named after a skeleton. Duh. A weird-looking creature known as a chicken leg, which was aptly named after and inspired by an actual chicken leg. I don't know, I guess the artist was running low on ideas or something. Maybe it was a late night. 3 o'clock in the morning, smoking a cigarette. He just wants to go home. So he's just looking at KFC. He's like, chicken leg, there you go. Give it a beak, boom. Can I go home now? Deathbringer was another one, who only appears in the Mega Drive and MS-DOS versions of Golden Axe, and is said to be the one orchestrating Death Adder's actions behind the scenes. So I guess in a sense, he brought Death Adder to these lands. So that could be where his name came from, because he is literally the bringer of death, as in Death Adder, or in this case, the Deathbringer. The gnomes are another one, which, depending on what game you were playing, they were also known as either elves, dwarves, or thieves. I mean, look at the difference of each of these races. Elves are taller than dwarves, unless of course you mean Santa's elves, I guess. Dwarves are taller than gnomes, and thieves is more of an occupation than a race of people. You know? I mean, out of all of them, which one do you think this little guy fits the most? Lastly, we have dragons, which are technically not dragons, but drakes. Yes, I know, I did something similar in the Mario videos, but I love my mythology, and they're not getting the name right, so I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking now. So, right, I'll be very quick on this, because just to get it out there. So, a dragon, right, is a big reptilian creature. It can breathe fire, or lightning, or poison, whatever. It has wings, it has scales, it has arms, legs, and a tail. That's a dragon. If you remove the wings, it becomes a drake. If you remove the front legs and put the wings back on, it becomes a wyvern. If you remove the arms and the legs, it becomes an amphitheater. If you turn the wings into like fins and you make it an aquatic creature, it becomes a leviathan. If you go back to a normal dragon, but you remove its legs and its arms and its wings, then it becomes a worm. Give its arms back and it becomes a lindworm, although that one is a little bit, there's more confusion with that one, because some say it has arms but no legs, whereas others say it has legs but no arms, and others say it doesn't have legs or arms, so therefore it's technically a worm and not a lindworm, but I don't know, there's a lot of confusion with it. All in all, dragons are a confusing mess, so in conclusion, this is a drake, and this is a dinosaur who sometimes eats spicy turtles. And that's it. That's the rundown. I mean, you can get even further deeper into this rabbit hole, but we're not going to do that because this video is about Golden Axe. So, there you go. There's a quick rundown of your dragon-like creatures. Moving on. Our third and final interesting fact is focused around the NPC screams in the original arcade version. In level 1, you see an enemy stomping on a helpless civilian laying on the ground. His screams are a soundbite taken from the Rambo film First Blood. Another scream from the same film is used when one of the more common enemies die. When a larger enemy is killed, it plays a soundbite taken from the film Conan the Barbarian. Another scream was also taken from Conan when a priest is hit in the balls, and it's used in Golden Axe when a skeleton is killed.
I'm afraid and I'm shy. Is this your rope? A priest's rope?
Yes, it's all I have.
Good. That's all you'll ever need.
There is another scene of a civilian being stomped on, but this time it's a woman. Her screams come from the film American Werewolf in London. Now, it is rumored that the Zubroka screams are taken from the film Barbarian Queen, but I haven't been able to watch it to confirm, as I don't have access to the film. If any fan of Golden Axe is watching this and they would like to compare the two together, the Zubroka screams and any screams that are in the film, please let me know in the comments below if any of the screams sound alike, because I'll definitely be interested to know. The one scream that I didn't understand why they even chose that sound was for Tiris Flare. When she dies, she makes the weirdest sound ever, and I have no idea if it's even from a film, maybe it's from a cartoon, or maybe I don't know. It's not even a scream. It's more of something. It's more of a noise that Yoshi makes. Like, it's like, I mean, what kind of scream is that? You've just been killed, and the noise you make is, wow. Why couldn't it be a scream similar to like Streets of Rage, you know? But instead, you choose this. But that's all we got time for today. I found a surprising amount of information and interesting stuff about Golden Axe that I never knew about. There's still a little bit more to come in the next episode, but that's more just like magazine advertisings and the game manual as well that we need to read. So stay tuned for the next episode when we play the game of Golden Axe. As of right now, I will leave you with the TurboGrafx Golden Axe anime style cinematic that they did for each character, Gilius, Tiris, and Axe Battler, when you start the game and when you beat the game. I will only show you one of them, so if you would like to see the other two, then I recommend you play the game. But until then, take care, and I will catch you cool cats later.
お目覚めの時がやってまいりました。デスアーダー様。人間どもをこの世から抹殺する時が来たのです。デスアーダー様。20年ぶりでございます、デスアーダー様。すべての準備が整っております。どうぞご命令を。まずは手始めにサウスウッド王国だ。
なあ、知ってるか？噂じゃ魔人が復活したって話だぜ。
ああ、それなら俺も聞いたことがあるぜ。昔一夜で王国を全滅させたという。
本当だろうか？
さあな。さあ、先を急ごうぜ。
どうした？なんだ貴様らは。
そりゃねえだろ。噂は本当だってことを教えに来たのによ。
じゃあお前たちは。
どうしたの？もう後がないよ。
くそー、これまでか。
貴様ら、それぐらいにしておけ。
なんで？おめえは。
そんなことより身の心配をした方が利口だと思うがな。
俺たちはかつてファイヤーウッド王国を全滅させたデスアダー軍だぜ。かっこつけってっと痛い目見んぞ。
デスアダー。そうか。やはり奴はこの国へ来ているのか。
何者だあの男は。
こんなはずじゃ。お前こんなことしてただで済むと思ってんのか？
俺の名はアックス・バトラー。20年前お前らに友を、そして母を殺された男だ。
20年前？お前ファイヤーウッドの生き残りか？
帰ったら伝えろ。デスアダー、今度は貴様がくたばる番だとな。
そんなこの私が破れるなんて。ハイネケンまでやられるとは、お前の腕も大したものよな。デスアダー、どこだ？
俺と戦え。あ、なんだこの蛇どもは。どういうことだ。みんな祭壇の方へ集まっていく。まさか。おお。こいつが。
おとなしく我々に従っていればよいものを。
貴様か、デスアーダ
ーバカなお前にもよくわかるようにわかりやすく教えてやろう。このデスアーダーに歯向かうことがどれほど愚かなことか。
この日を待ちわびたぞ。くらえデスアー
ダーどこまでも愚かなやつ。死ぬがいい。バカな。信じられん。このデスアーダーが増票ごときに敗れるなどということは。
俺一人ではない。俺のこの剣にはお前に殺された人々の魂が込められているのだ。
くだらん。愚か者のたわごとだ。
見苦しいぞデスアーダー。魔人の伝説か。あっけないものだな。
あなた、しっかりしてください。あなた。
一体何が起こったのだ。
もう大丈夫。魔人は、デスアーダーは死んだのですよ。
魔人が死んだ。信じられん。
ほら、あのお方が。
おお、そち名を何と申す。
アックス・バトラー。
デスアーダーに囚われていた国王夫妻は救出されたが、サウスウッドがこの戦いの傷から立ち直るのはまだ先のこととなるだろう。やがて真の平和がサウスウッドに、そして世界に訪れることになるだろう。国王に勧められてサウスウッドの将軍となった彼は、デスアーダーの残党をことごとく殲滅していった。そしてサウスウッドに平和が訪れたある日、彼の姿は王宮内から消え失せていた。噂によると冒険を求めて大陸へと渡っていったと言われている。この大陸に渡った彼は畏怖と尊敬を一身に集め、やがて王となった。ファイヤーウッドの人々は将軍時代の彼を指しこう呼んだ。ファイヤーウッドの守護神アックス・バトラーと。